So as you're about to see in a moment, right now we have a couple agencies that are working under my mentorship that are getting anywhere from 1 to 2 plus meetings a day. Now I'm going to show you the proof in a second, then I'm going to walk you through the entire process that's being followed to being able to achieve this for this particular niche. And even if you're in a slightly different niche, this will work for you if you're working with local-based businesses that you could easily reach via the phone. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the process. Before I do that, I'm going to quickly show you some proof because I know that's super important. So firstly, we've got Mohammed booked 36 meetings from this system. Let's quickly listen to what he had to say. Channel 1 is cold calling. And how's that performing right now?
Oh, it's performing really good. If I can check the numbers, give me a minute. Because last month we booked 36 or 38 meetings.
Cool. So he booked for between 36, let's call it 36 and 38, let's call it 36 meetings in a single month, all right? Joe went ahead, he booked 6 meetings in one day. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Thanks for sharing, Joe.
A win. I mean, earlier, I was doing some cold calls earlier, I booked like 6 meetings, I don't know, I guess that's a win.
Yeah, that's
booked some meetings in for next week.
It's a pretty nice one, actually. How many?
Now, what's crazy with Joe is you're going to find out in a second that he only did 30 dials to book 6 meetings, which is absolutely unheard of. It's insane.
How many dials did you make today?
I think it's not even more than 30. Probably just like, yeah, I'm tracking. I don't have that.
Which is insane, right? 30 dials, 6 meetings. I'm about to show you exactly how we've managed to get this done. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Couple prerequisites or a couple notes that I want you to know going into this. Firstly, we make decisions based on data, not emotion, which means that I'm going to show you some things in a moment that are quote unquote, and for lack of better words, stupidly simple, right? And what we do is we launch something and we get the data. And if the data says that we're working, then we keep going in that direction. If it says it's not working, we go ahead and we try something new. So the first thing is that we make decisions based on data, not emotion. Secondly, we keep it stupidly simple. If something is very complicated or very confusing, it can probably be much simpler. Just a standard rule to live by. There are times that this doesn't apply, but for the most part, if something's very, very confusing, you can probably make it better, make it simpler. And simplicity scales, right? Number 3, we launch the bare minimum and then improve the data versus trying to figure out everything right away. A lot of agency owners, especially when they're doing something like cold calling, like we're going to be speaking about in a second, they will go ahead and they will try and get everything figured out before they make the first ever call, which is the wrong approach to take because you learn so much from getting the practical experience. And number 4, we follow the system and we don't question it unless something is off KPI. Now understand that if I were to summarize this entire thing here, keep it simple and don't be emotional. Those are the 2 most important things that we do. We just keep it simple and we don't be emotional with the process. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the script first, and then I'll talk about how to automate this and everything else in a second. But you have to understand that this is going to be the simplest cold calling script that you have ever seen, right? And part of you will feel like it's too simple and you won't want to do it, but it works. I've shown you Mohammed, I've shown you Joe, and there are a bunch of other people that I can show you today, but you know, let's get into it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you the script. It's simple, it works. As I said right here, we go ahead, we launch, we follow the system and we don't question it unless it's off KPI. So you got to follow what I'm going to show you today and you will get results. If you don't get results, then you can come back to me, talk to me, and then we can figure out why you're not getting results and optimize it. But the most important thing is that you follow the system I'm about to walk you through. Now, agency, so this is you, right? This is you as an agency. You'll call them up, you'll get through to the decision maker and you'll be like, hey name, I've got an idea that might interest you. I know you're busy, so can I have just 30 seconds to share it? You can tell me right after if it's not for you. And then we'll say, yeah, sure. And then you can go through. And what you want to say is, well, the reason why I'm calling today is I found your business online and, you know, we actually work with niche who are finding it difficult to scale because they cannot, problem 1 or problem 2. So what we do is offer and risk reversal. Does that sound like a fair arrangement? And they will say, yeah, sure. They may ask questions at this point. If they ask questions, you can go through it and you can go through that. I'm not going to give you objection handling today, but there's objection handling if they ask you questions. Sometimes they will ask you questions, sometimes this will be enough. All right, if they ask you questions, just really quickly, if they ask you questions, you want to keep it really casual, and you want to like understand the language that I'm using right now. It's very chill. Even when I'm speaking like this, I'm like this, right? Because I'm laid back, I'm chill, and that helps my tonality in the language that I use. So when you're doing this yourself, you want to be very laid back, very chill, very relaxed, very calm, and then answer their questions. So if they go into pricing, you respond in a way that's very calm, very relaxed, very chill, and like you want to help them out, okay? Make it personalized to them. So you're going to say, does that sound like a fair arrangement? They will say yes. And then you say, awesome. So if that does sound like a fair arrangement for you, the best next step would be for us to set up a quick Zoom call to hear a little bit more about your business and see if what we do would work for you and what that would look like for your specific situation. Do you have duration for a quick chat on day 1 or day 2? And they'll go ahead and respond to that. Now, quick caveat here, because obviously this is home improvement. Sometimes you're going to come across people who are not very technical, and Zoom isn't going to work well, and what we found is Google Meets can work better for them in that scenario. The other approach that you might want to take, just to give you an idea right now, is to do a triage call first and then the main call after. The triage call, introduction, discovery call, whatever you want to do that, you can do that over the phone, and then you can actually do the second half when you're pitching them on a meeting like this, on face-to-face, right? But either way, you can do this. Now, Mohammed and Joe, they both did a 1-call close, and they did, I think both of them did Google Meets, so that's what they use. But either way, Zoom, Google Meets, whatever it is, this is the scripting that you want to use. Wait for their response, then you just say, great, what time works best for you? They'll go ahead and tell you, and you say, okay, and which email address should I send this confirmation to? And they'll tell you, and then you can say, what's your mobile cell number? Or if you've got it, you can just confirm with them, this number that I'm calling you on right now, is that the best to send the confirmation text to? And they'll say yes. And you say, okay, cool. Now, great. And just quickly, before we hop off, just 2 quick questions, just so I can make sure that I'm best prepared for our call here. Question 1, they will answer, and you say, okay, great. And question 2, and then they will answer to that, right? And these questions here, this gives you a little, as it says right here, you can use these for qualification purposes. So if there's something that you've got to ask, something that's in your qualification form, something that you want to ask them just before they actually get on the call, you can ask them that right here, right now. So for example, what kind of projects are you looking to take on right now? What kind of project budgets are you looking for? How many projects can you take on a month? Just different things like that that's going to be used for qualification to make sure that you're actually booking qualified calls. Because a lot of people that teach cold calling, they just teach you how to book meetings, and booking meetings via cold calling isn't very difficult if you make enough dials. The trick comes into actually booking qualified meetings, and most importantly, getting those qualified meetings to show up. So what this does is 2 things. Number 1, make sure that they're qualified, and number 2, gets a little bit more buy-in from them because they're giving you more information, they're having more of a chat, you're becoming more memorable. A lot of cold callers, they just want to get in, get the call scheduled, and then get off so they can make the next dial. If you're here just taking a little bit more time to really talk with them a bit more, they're going to be more brought into the conversation and the relationship between you and them. So you want to ask question 1, then question 2, and you can say, awesome, thanks for that. That's all done now. You should receive an email, and I'll pop you a text so you have my number just in case you need anything before the call. It was nice to chat with you today, Name. Got anything nice going on after this call? And they'll go ahead and answer that. Now, the trick with this is to actually mean it, right? Like today, it's a Friday, it's 5 p.m., 5:30 right now. If I was making a cold call, I'll be like, great, well, look, it was nice to chat to you today, David. How are you spending the rest of your Friday evening? And then they will go ahead and say, well, it was Valentine's Day 2 days ago, so, we're just going on a late date with the missus or whatever. And you'll be like, oh, great, that sounds lovely. Enjoy your Friday, whatever else. And then you can move on, right? But the reason that we do this is because nobody else does. Right? Let's be real. None of you have ever seen anything like this in a cold calling script, and this is one of the reasons it works so well, especially getting people to show up, all right? So it's really simple, but the tonality that you use has to show you actually care. Just like as I said before, great, well, look, how are you spending the rest of your Friday evening? And I'll go ahead and tell you, yeah, cool, yeah, look, that sounds real nice. Well, look, enjoy your evening there, and then you move on. All right, really simple but highly effective. Wish them a good day, repeat the confirm slot, and then end the call. So you'll just be like, got anything nice going on after, how are you spending the rest of your Friday evening, for example? It's just using different language. So how are you spending the rest of your Friday evening? Going to a restaurant. Cool. Well, look, enjoy the restaurant. That sounds nice. Just to confirm, we're booked in now for 2 p.m. Monday, okay? So I'll see you then. Enjoy your weekend. And if you need anything, just reach out. Now say okay, and then you go ahead and you move on. You want to use a tracking sheet to track your cold calls and make improvement to your scripts. So you want to track, this is variation 1 I've given you today. And you obviously want to go ahead and put problem in. You want to just fill this out. Just copy this and fill this all out. And then what you want to do is, based on how things go, you want to optimize and improve it, okay? And in talking about optimizations, firstly, actually, before we move on there, as I said before, the script is really simple. All right, don't overthink it. My tonality can be better, and truthfully, I'm just talking to a screen right now, just talking to a camera and talking to a laptop. You can do better. You can be better in the way that you're doing your pronunciation, your tonality. When you're actually speaking with somebody, it comes a little bit more fluidly. But the idea is, you see how I was very laid back throughout the whole thing and very casual. You want to maintain that and keep that going and use that as well. All right, just super chill, super laid back. I know people that when they're doing cold calling, they literally put their feet up, like they're just relaxing, or they're like slouching, if that helps, on the sofa or whatever it may be, or walking around the room. You just want to look like it's really casual and that you literally you want to speak like you just called them up. Okay, yeah, I've got an idea that might interest you, and then so on and so forth, right? So really simple, but go ahead, this is your version 1, right? And then based on how this works, based on the metrics that you're getting, you're going to want to make changes. The main metrics that you want to track are the caller date, so the date that you're calling, of course, how many dials made on that day, how many pickups you received, how many pitches you made, how many demo calls you scheduled, how many completed calls, and what your sales revenue was. So for example, if caller date is today, Friday the 16th of February, then what we're going to do is we're going to mark this the 16th, right? And then let's say that we end up actually having the call on Monday next week. Monday is going to be 17th, 18th, Monday 19th, right? On Monday 19th, let's say you complete the call. What you do is you go ahead and this call complete, and let's say you sign the client, you want to track this for today's date. And the reason for that is you also want to include the script variation number, so you know which script actually got the results. All right, so like all of this here applies for that day, but then this data, you want to go ahead and make sure that you're adding it to the day that you made the cold call. Right? I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit easier to explain on a spreadsheet, but I hope that makes sense. You just want to track this data every single day, and the completed calls, sales, revenue, etc. You want to track this for the day that meeting was actually set, which is today the 16th. So we would go ahead and we would write it on the 16th. Hope that makes sense. And again, the reason that we do that is because some variations of your script are going to perform better, and so we need to know which one you use on that particular day and the results that you got for it. Okay? You also want to track your engaged leads. So any lead that's like really interested, like, yeah, send me more information, etc. You want to try and rebuttal those on the call. But if there's anything that you can't and you need to go ahead and actually do what they're asking, or if they say, give me a call back, I'm in the middle of like, in home improvement, they'll be like, yeah, I'm in the middle of fixing a toilet or a sink right now. And then you could be like, oh, cool, okay. And then you can, they're engaged, you can contact them. And likewise, kind of the same thing, but callbacks. If somebody says to you like, hey, again, like I'm fixing a sink right now, can you call me tomorrow at 1 o'clock? You'll go ahead, write down tomorrow 1 o'clock, and you call them. Obviously tomorrow is Saturday, so it'll probably be on Monday or whatever, but you get the idea. You want to track the people that are engaged, track the people that are asking you to call back, more information, pricing, whatever it may be. You want to track that information. And then lastly, like any notes. So any notes you're getting from the person. If they're saying to you, like if a lot of people are saying, oh, I get you guys calling me every single day, then you want to see that maybe your script needs changing, maybe it's something other people are doing, you need to be a little bit more unique with your approach, whatever it may be. But as I said, this approach is working very, very well right now. All right? So that's that. Now, a lot of you out there are in a situation where you don't want to sit around doing 100 dials a day, and 100 dials is the minimum that I would want to do. A lot of you don't want to do 100 dials a day, and I would usually just tell you to push through and just do the work, because that's what it takes to grow a business. But I'm also going to tell you that Mohammed, who I showed you before, 36 meetings in 30 days, he didn't have time to do it because he's working crazy hours already, right? He's busy. So he went ahead and actually hired a remote dialing team. So let me quickly walk you through how to automate that process. So firstly, what we did is we hired cold callers from Upwork. Now, you could potentially go ahead and actually find family, friends, or new salespeople that are on Facebook or Discord groups or whatever else who will jump at the opportunity just to get experience. There's a lot of people out there. You can get these incredible 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds. You may even know a friend or two who just want experience, and you can get them to do the cold calling for a little bit less than you would pay somebody that's more seasoned, but they still appreciate it because they're getting great experience, and you can pay them commission or whatever else, right? I've got a full video about this on YouTube, so you can check that out at a later time on actually how to build your remote dialing team. But use Upwork. You need to get them the leads. We use data miners, which again are people on Upwork that we just go to and we say, hey, we need phone numbers for a few thousand businesses that meet the specification, and they send it to us. You can also use tools like Apollo, or there's a bunch out there. You just need to get leads and make sure that you give those leads to the setter, your appointment setter, your cold caller. And you also need to have the platform that you're using and make sure that it's technically set up. So we use Go High Level or Close.com, so you can use either of those. And you can create what's called power dialers for both. You can actually do this on Go High Level. A lot of people don't know that. But a power dialer is basically just going to keep calling numbers. So every time that you call somebody and you speak and you put the phone down, it will after 10, 20, 30 seconds, it starts calling the next lead. So you don't really get a break. It just keeps calling. And when it keeps calling, it makes it so that you're actually doing more dials and you're making, being more productive, being more efficient with your time because you're not messing around. It just keeps dialing. Really, really, really great tool. If you or yourself, or you or a team member are just going to block out a couple hours and just do back-to-back cold calls. For your training, you also want to have examples of good calls and bad calls and give this to your remote callers, and they're going to go ahead and use that to study. And this is why it's super important to do some cold calling yourself first, so you've actually got examples of good calls and bad calls. And you also just need the practical experience to be able to coach them properly. If you're working with somebody like myself, like if people are working with me, like I'll come in, I'll train your team. I'll show them everything they need. They can speak to me a few times a week, whatever they need to, and I can help them out. But if you don't have access to something like that, because you're just kind of learning from YouTube, then you need to have the skills and you need to be able to do that, all right? So keep that in mind. And lastly, what you want to do, not lastly, but you want to hire 3 to 5 people at any given time. Understand that the biggest problem in almost all companies is finding qualified and quality team members. So hire more than you need, and understand that you will have to drop those that are not hungry enough. This position, cold calling specific, any type of appointment setting, but especially cold calling, it's all about the hunger and drive. If somebody is not hungry and driven enough, they're not going to get good results. It's as simple as that, all right? Because they need to make the dials. As I said, 100 dials a day minimum. Some people do way more, all right? The people that you hire, you want to give them 2 weeks to hit the KPI. Just to give you a really standard KPI right now, go for $100 a day and at least a 3% meeting book rate. As you've seen, we're really seeing anywhere 5-6% meeting book rate, if not even a little bit higher sometimes. But really, just to keep it simple for you, $100 a day, 3% meeting book rate is pretty good. If they are hitting the KPI and they look promising, so even if they're a little bit below, but they look like they're improving, they're doing good, keep them on. If they are far from KPI and they're not improving, drop them, especially if they are off this. If they are off this, it's a big problem. If they are off this, it's usually a fixable problem and it's something to do with your process. So a lot of the time you can fix this, but this right here, honestly, you can't really fix. It just comes down to how hungry and driven they are a lot of the time. So if they're not improving and they're not getting anywhere near, especially this number, this KPI, drop them from the team. Have one daily group call. So every day you'll get on with the callers and you speak with them. Give them coaching, help them out, and also have one one-on-one group call with your team members each week. Okay, you want to have daily beginning of day reporting and end of day reporting, including giving feedback on the day. So in the beginning of the day, they're going to go ahead and tell you a few things about how they're feeling that morning, and where they are for the week, and whatever else information you personally want to have in your beginning of day report. And then you want to have an end of day report as well, which focuses more on the metrics achieved that day. So for example, the metrics that we've got here, they should be tracking this on a spreadsheet, but you also want them to do it on an end of day. And one of the questions for end of day is to ask them, are there any specific calls that you would like me to review, or any questions that you have from your session of work today? And then if they do, you can go ahead and you can give them feedback on the actual calls that they made. You want to make sure that you're recording them so you can listen back and give them feedback. Also understand that if you have a team, pretty much each hour that you spend coaching is really worth 3 to 5+ hours of them doing work in the field. Think about it like this, right? If somebody is getting a 1% meeting book rate for you, and you can come give them coaching for an hour and get that up to a 2% meeting book rate, you've doubled their results within an hour, which means they've gone from booking 1 meeting per 100 dials to booking 2 meetings per 100 dials. For the same amount of time, the same amount of energy, and the same amount of effort, they're getting double the results for 1 hour of your time of teaching and coaching them, which is very, very, very good. So if you can do that, it's basically the highest leverage thing that you can do is training your team. So make sure that you're doing this. Very, very, very important. Okay. Now, if you follow through on this, you've got this script and you've got the process that we use so you can actually automate the entire process. But I want to show you one more part, which is how to get people to show up, because this is generally where people struggle when it comes to cold calling, but we've pretty much nailed it. We've got it solved. In terms of the setup, the show up process, there's a few things going on. Firstly, we've got an automated booking funnel. This isn't mind-blowing. This isn't anything that you haven't seen before. Right? A lot of you know that you want to go ahead and use Go High Level or Calendly as a scheduler. A lot of you know that. And a lot of you have it set up in a way that's okay. It's just not exactly perfect. And this is something that takes a little bit of tweaking, but we found a good process that works really well for us. So firstly, we've got a Go High Level scheduler set up. You know how I said before that we've got question 1 and question 2? These are the questions that are on the Go High Level scheduler. So if somebody's booking from cold calling or social media or whatever else, they have to answer these questions either way. Just because I'm cold calling, it doesn't mean they get out of answering the questions. It just means that it looks a little bit different, right? We're actually going to ask them on the call. So we've got the scheduler, we've got the question and answers there, and they will answer those for us on the call. And then what happens is after we speak with them, we send them to the call confirmation page. Right? This is the very first thing that we want to do. And the call confirmation page is, again, if somebody was booking themselves online, once they book in their appointment, it loads up this call confirmation page, and this starts priming them and nurturing them to get them to buy. So on that page, there's information about the call and what to expect. So for home improvement, you want to tell them, hey, please don't be on a job site. Make sure that you're on a laptop or somewhere that you can focus for a productive and efficient conversation, right? You want to have information about your offer. You don't want to take away too much of the mystery and intrigue, because that's going to help you, but you want to give them a little bit of information, enough to make them interested. So this is really good if you've got testimonials and case studies, pop them in. If not, just speak a lot about the offer and the transformation that you're going to be walking them through, and make sure that they know that they're going to get some value whether or not they pay and work with you or not. Like, they're going to get some value either way. And then with that, you also want to send automatic confirmations and reminders. We've got a few that go out. So we've got the confirmations, and then we've got reminders. A reminder sends 24 hours before the call, 6 hours before the call. And then we also have another manual reminder that I'll tell you about in a second. This is like all of the automated booking funnel that you've got on Go High Level, all right? Really simple to set up. In terms of the additional steps, firstly, you want to add your prospects on social media. So whatever their social media is, add them on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it is, add them. And make sure that you're posting content. The content is used to nurture people before the call. Okay, this is very important. I know a lot of you are not posting content right now for whatever reason. I have no idea, because you're a marketing agency. You should be having decent marketing. But if you're planning on being around in the agency space for a while, build a brand. Very important, okay? Conversation for another time. The important part here is make sure you're posting content and add them on social media so they see your content before your call. The more content they see, let me put it like this, they will scroll your social media. Okay, whether you add them or not, they're going to Google you. They're going to Google you and see who you are. And if nothing comes up, it's a massive red flag, and it's very, very strange. It's just weird for a marketing agency to be unavailable online. So make sure that you add them on social media. Especially if you don't have a good social media presence, this is even why you want to do it even more, because you could just have one good platform and add them on that platform and make sure that they see you from there, and then they can go ahead and get nurtured via your content. So very important. Number 2, manually text or message them in the morning to see if they received the link. A lot of you say, I don't need to do this because I've got my automatic going out. That doesn't make sense. They're not the same. This is just an automatic confirmation or automatic reminder. This is a personalized text message. And the way that I send this out, this messaging works really good. I'm going to give you this as a quick bonus. Is I'll just say to them, hey name, looking forward to speaking today. Just checking you received the Zoom link for our call, or the Google Meets link for our call. Really simple. That's it. Not, hey, just checking we're on for 2 o'clock. Don't do that, because it gives them an easy way to say no. And it's a lot of the time it's easier to say no, or it's scarier to say yes, so it's easier to say no. So just keep it chill, all right? Just, hey name, looking forward to speaking today, just checking that you got the Zoom link. And I'm doing this like it's a phone call. You're going to text them that, all right? Text, WhatsApp, or whatever it may be. And then if they're late, like if they don't show up, don't start stressing, just give them a call, right? If they don't show up, give them a call within the first 5 minutes if they don't show up. If they completely don't show up, then mark them in your CRM as a no-show. So NS is no-show. And then what you want to do is follow up, FU. You want to follow up once every 1 to 2 days within the 14 days of their no-show. So today's the 16th of February. If they don't show up today, because it's a Friday, I would just wait after the weekend. On Monday, I would follow up with them. If I don't get anything, I'm waiting 1 to 2 days. So let's take us to Wednesday, and then I'll go ahead and follow up. And if I don't get anything, maybe Thursday, or maybe I'll wait to Friday, and whatever it is, just change it up. And a sequence like that should get them to re-engage. You can text them, you can email them, you can call them. Calling is probably the best thing, because that's how you reached them before. So just call them at whatever time you previously called, and that's when you know they're available. So just call them, see what's going on, and then get them to schedule in. A lot of the time, they're going to tell you, hey, you know what, like a team member just accidentally broke someone's toilet, so I had to go and fix that. Or, you know, a team member called in sick, so I had to go pick up some tiles, or, you know, whatever it is. Like the weirdest stuff come up sometimes. And then lastly, add all of your prospects to an email list. So automatically when people book in a call with me, whether they're qualified or not, they get added to an email list, and then I email my email list. I personally do it 2 to 3 times a week, but I'm saying for you, you can just do it 1 to 2 times a week minimum. And what you want to do is have a mixture between value and call to actions. So the content that you're posting on your social media, you can just take that and repurpose it on your email list. And then on your email list, do a direct call to action at least once a week as well, which just says, hey, we're looking to take on a couple extra home improvement businesses this month to help them achieve this result. If you're interested in getting more information, just respond yes, and I'll personally give you a call, or I'll personally respond with more information to help you achieve this goal, whatever it is. And that's it. Really, really simple. If you do all of the stuff I told you at the beginning, you're going to get better results, and you're going to start getting closer to this point. This is infinitely scalable, which means that if you're getting a 3% meeting book rate, and you're doing $100 a day, you're booking 3 meetings a day, one person. If you've got 5 people, then you just times that by 5. So you're doing $500 a day, and you're booking 15 calls a day. That's what this could look like if you had 5 absolute killers on your team. All right, but a lot of the time it's not going to start there, so I'm trying to set the right expectation. You'll be able to get this really easily just following everything I've given you today. The only thing that I've really missed is more information about hiring cold callers, and I've got a full tutorial about that on YouTube. I also didn't speak so much about the technical setup, but it's something I'm more happy to go ahead and explore more of in a video in the future. So if you'd like that, just comment down below, let me know, and I can get that recorded. If you are an agency owner who's looking for a more consistent and predictable flow of qualified meetings for your agency, click the link, the first link in the description below, so you can explore the opportunity of potentially working one-on-one with me and seeing if and how I might be able to actually help you achieve your goals with the agency and grow, because that's what we're all looking to do. So this system works really well. The results that I showed you at the beginning of the video, those are just 2 of the people that are in my one-on-one, and you can see that stuff works really, really well. So if you want help, click the link. If not, that's fine. Keep watching my YouTube videos. They are free. Just make sure, please, that you take action, because that's how you get results. And just hit the subscribe button, comment below if you've got any questions or any requests. Hope you found this valuable, and I'll see you again in the next video.